I'm feeling very pinky today. Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with my December wrap-up. I read quite a few books in December. I'm on break, so that means a lot of time for reading. But I also had finals at the beginning of the month, so my beginning of the month was slow, and then I had some good reading sprints, and then I had some bad ones. But I ended up reading 8.5 books this month, so that's okay. I would say so myself. So let's get into the books because I like to ramble. The first book I read this month is Emerald Greed by Kirsten Gier. This is the third and final book in the Ruby Red or Precious Gem trilogy. The Ruby Red trilogy is about a girl who inherited a time-traveling gene and she can travel back in time. I'm of course not going to tell you what this book was about because spoilers. I thought the first two books were okay. I've heard a lot of people either absolutely love them or they're not big fans at all. I enjoyed the first two books. I didn't think they were the best thing ever, but I didn't really have too much to complain about them with. But then this one I gave 3 or 3.5 stars, probably 3 stars, because it was not a bad conclusion, but it's quite thick, and looking back, I could not really tell you what happened in all this time. It was very drawn out, and it didn't really need to be this long, and I don't think there were enough intense plot points. However, they did wrap up all the ends that needed to be tied up, and I thought it was a lot of fun, so I still did give it the 3 stars. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it as much as a lot of people did. The next book I read is Angelfall by Susan E. This book is about a post-apocalyptic world where angels have fallen and they're trying to just exterminate all the humans, and we don't really know why, but our main character Penryn sees this angel's wings get cut off right in front of her, and she kind of buddies up with this angel because her sister has been taken, and her and this angel go together because Rafi the angel wants his wings back and Penryn wants her sister back. This book was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. 4.5 stars. The ending was a little bit difficult to picture for me, like I had a hard time visualizing the world, but it was super fast, super intense. I really loved both of our main characters. They were so badass and their banter was just so great. I just loved them together. They were so much fun and so much love. Thank you, Jenna, for convincing me to read this. The next book I picked up, because I wanted something light and fluffy, was This Is What Happy Looks Like by Jennifer E. Smith. This book is about a girl and a guy who meet online because he accidentally emails her, and they start to form this relationship, but it turns out the guy is actually a famous actor, kind of like a Dylan O'Brien type. He comes to her town because he's filming a movie there, and they meet, and it's a lot of fun, I thought. This book was okay. I gave it 3 stars. I've heard a lot of mixed things on this author's books, but I had it on my shelf, so I decided that I wanted to pick it up. I thought for it being an over 400-page contemporary book that the characters did not have enough interaction. It wasn't even that they really had insta-love or that they were annoying as a couple. It was told in a dual point of view, but there was so much time where the characters weren't even talking to each other, which is just not really what I expected this book to be. And it's not like they even had individual character development while they were separate. It was just kind of a lot of filler, and I don't think enough happened in this 400-page book. So it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. I don't need a synopsis for this. I love Harry Potter. I reread the first 2 books during the summer, and I decided to pick this one up. I really wanted to finish rereading the series in 2014, however I didn't get to them all. But because everybody was doing hashtag Harry Christmas to you, I really wanted to join in on some of the fun, so I reread this, absolutely loved it. This is one of my favorite ones. I love all the family history at the end, and I rewatched the movie as well on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and it was amazing, of course. The next book I picked up was World After by Susan E. This is the second to Angelfall. I picked this up because I originally asked for it for Christmas, and my lovely friend Jenna picked it up for me because she's like, oh no, you shouldn't have to wait for it, so she got it for me. So thank you so much, Jenna. I also thanked her about it in my favorite books of 2014, and this series, I personally think I like this one even better than Angelfall because even though this one took me a little bit more to get into, I thought the ending of this was just so action-packed, and I finally got a grasp of this world, so I could really enjoy the story and the banter, and I just love this so much, and I cannot wait for the 3rd book to come out next May. The next book I finished in the month of December is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. This book is a reread, of course. The Hunger Games series is pretty much my favorite of all time. I absolutely love it. I've been a fan for so long. So when the movie came out in November, I reread the first half of this, and then I continued on and read the second half here in December. I loved it so much. I think I enjoy this book every single time I reread it. The first time I read it, I was quite disappointed in it, but I think the reason why I was so disappointed is because it's so different than the other two books in this series. Yes, the ending is a little bit rushed, but the emotions in this book are just so raw, so hard to read, but then at the same time it's just... I put off reading the second half of this for a while just because I don't know if my feels could take it, but I finished it and I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait for the Mockingjay Part 2 movie. I'm going to sob like a baby considering I sobbed in the first half. I can't imagine how bad I'm going to sob in the second. The next book I read is The Time Between Us by Tamara Ireland Stone, and this is about a girl in 1995. This mysterious guy shows up and it turns out he is a time traveler from 2012. Little romance brews up from them, of course. I really enjoyed this book. I have not heard anybody talk about it, so I didn't really know what to expect from it. One of the things that I really liked about this book was that it was set in Evanston, Illinois, and I've been there multiple times, so it's kind of cool to see any book set around where you live or a place that you've been a lot. I knew where all the landmarks were. It was just really, really, really cool to see that. I thought the romance between these characters was really executed well. I thought the writing was very beautiful. I don't exactly remember what I rated this. I think it was a 4 or 4.5 stars. There's a second book to this, which I believe is told in the guy's point of view, and I'm super excited to pick it up because it is not on my shelf. I am very interested to see how this duology concludes. The next book I picked up was My True Love Gave to Me by a bunch of authors, and it was edited together by Stephanie Perkins. I read this on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and the day after Christmas. I really enjoyed it. It's a bunch of holiday stories and one bind-up all edited together, and they aren't really intertwining stories, so you could just pick up one story. You don't have to read them in order or anything. I really enjoyed this. Some of the stories were kind of meh, but then others I was absolutely blown away by. I think my favorite one was the Rainbow Rowell story because it was just so cute, and I talked about it in my favorites video. It was so perfect. And I really enjoyed Stephanie Perkins' story. I thought Jenny Han's story was adorable, and I really liked Gail Forman's story. It was the other one that I really, really enjoyed. Something that I really liked about this was that it focused on other holidays that weren't Christmas, which is obviously very nice for the people who don't necessarily celebrate. There was a Hanukkah story, or a few Hanukkah stories. There was a winter solstice story. Holly Black's story was about some weird holiday that I had never even heard of. And Rainbow Rowell's story was a New Year's Eve story. It was just super interesting to see all of these holidays be combined into one bind-up because it made me feel very, very festive, and it was so cute. I believe I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars total, but I rated every single one of the stories individually on my Goodreads, which I will link in the description. The final book I read in December absolutely blew me away. But I filmed my favorites video of 2014 before I read this, and now I'm super mad that I did that because this definitely would have made my list, and it is This Song Will Save Your Life by Layla Sales. This is about a girl who's in high school, and she really is struggling because she doesn't feel like she has any friends. She's kind of having typical problems that probably a lot of people can relate to, but then one night she is walking in the street alone and she finds this underground DJing club, and there she meets a lot of amazing characters and she feels like she belongs for the first time. This book was so amazing. Just seeing our main character, Elise's character development, was so amazing. Something that I really liked about this book is how it did not focus on really finding yourself, but it turned into a story about accepting the person that you already are. So it was absolutely beautiful, and because I failed to talk about it in my favorites, I think I'm going to make a book chat or book talk or book review about this, so look for that coming up. And I absolutely loved it, and I rated this 5 stars. Thank you so much for watching. This was my December wrap-up. I read a lot of very, very good books in December, which is very odd because I felt like there were some days where I would pretty much sit down and read a whole book. There were some times where multiple days in a row where I wouldn't read anything because I'd just be sitting here doing nothing, and then I had finals, and then, yeah. But thank you so much for watching. I hope some of these books interested you. Comment down below if you've read any of these and enjoyed them, and we can talk about them together. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Peace out, Girl Scout. Just seeing Layla's, not Layla, that's the author. I was gonna say something else. Oh yeah, just seeing our main character, what's her name? Elise. Harry Potter is my childhood. My eye. I hope some of these books intrigue me. I'm probably preaching to the choir though. Y'all know. You all know. There is a second book in the trilogy. Not trilogy. Whoa. Oops. I filmed my wrap up. I did not film my wrap up. I'm filming my wrap up now.